on a football Friday. Big Sills! And how you doing? You know, it's funny. I've been accused the last couple days of someone having given me a lollipop because Sills is, you know, he's Big Sills is kind of sounding too reasonable. Okay? Now, I'm going to throw something out at you here. Okay? Obviously, the huge news last night was Devin White. How many people in here think that that was a good sign and it addressed your linebacker position? Let's just say this. By the way, that is a great move. Josh Sweat restructuring his contract. Kudos. Both sides. Great job. Josh Sweat's your best and most complete defensive lineman you have. Until Jalen Carter shows us more, congratulations, Josh. Reddick's out. Fantastic. It's a great move. Not a good move. It's a great move. Okay? It's a great move. Okay? Great move. Now let's get to the Devin White move, who was beat out by KJ Britt by the end of the year. Guy lost his starting job. 4 of the 5 years, he had some of the worst grades in pro football. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Most 25, 26-year-old players are working on a second contract with their respected team. He was the 5th pick overall. And let's put that into context. He signed a 1-year prove-it deal, where Patrick Queen has signed a 3-year contract with the Steelers at $17.8 million a year. That's context. That's context. The Bucs moved from him because he's not good. Hey, and here's what really sucks about the player. Is he a more exceptional talent than Patrick Queen when it comes to athleticism? Absolutely. He may be one of the most athletic linebackers to come into the NFL in a long time. Unfortunately, 4 of the 5 years have been terrible. They've been terrible. So, I mean, how do you look at that when a guy was benched, lost his job, and the Bucs let him walk out the building, and he's the 5th pick in the draft? How is that a good sign by the Eagles? Where in the world do you honestly think? I'll give it to you if he had one bad season. He's had 4 straight. You want to hear something insane? Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham had higher grades on a shittier defense than what Devin White has had. And you're going to call that a good move? How? How is that a good move? You're not better. You're worse. He can't play the run. He can't cover. How are you better? This is not an opinion. This is everyone's evaluation on the player. Get this. When you're sitting in here telling me that I'm hating on something that everyone is saying, how do you validate what you're saying right now in the chat, or you're even listening to us? How are you validating it? How are you validating what you're saying, that I'm hating on a player who has blown for 4 of the last 5 years? How? How? So you signed the last guy left. We were saying this, William Gay Jr., Patrick Queen. Shit, who's the other guy? You know what even would have made more sense? Who was the former Eagle guy that Cleveland signed and Schwartz brought back? He may have been a former Eagle. You got Barb. You got what for free? A worse player? Big Rhythm says, Sills, you said the Eagles should trade for him. I said, why not look into trading for him? And then I watched him play the rest of the season. And once he got beat out, even the Bucks quit on him. Why would the Bucks quit on him? Dude, people came here today to defend Devin White's play when the Buccaneers, and Howie are even telling you, he's on a one-year prove-it deal. His career has been horrible. You're not looking at the reality of the player. My God Almighty, you're blinded by the name and his non-production and what people think of him. Even the Bucks with the 5th pick, a 26-year-old should be working on his second contract, not trying to have a prove-it one-year deal. As far as I'm concerned, he's Zach Cunningham. It's a terrible sign. It's an awful sign. After I talked to Sapp the last couple weeks, and Sapp said he never lived up to his opinion. And you know what you do when you're a guy like me and you're looking at it from afar and you see the tackle numbers in that 2020 season and you go, hey, he's putting numbers up. Then you watch him get beat out by KJ Britt. Then you start going, what? And I even put out a video yesterday, and I said the same thing. There's even character issues. There's even character issues. Will he play? Okay? He's not Dean, but he can't stop the run. I mean, KJ Britt is better. And here we go again. With maybes, he comes here and magically Vic Jim Johnson Fangio turns him into Ray Lewis. Dude, this is absolutely insane that anybody validates that Devin White was a great sign. Anybody who validates that, like I said when I put that video out yesterday, we'll see. But so far, his career has been a D+ at best. He's a D+ guy. This guy's not, yeah, I agree with you, Flexen. Devin White's not moving the needle. He's not moving the needle. You know what was funny? Like I said, last year he had a value on the street of $20 million. Then all of a sudden, people started looking at who he really was. That thing devalued to a point where he was a third-day guy. And you start looking at his numbers and you start putting them together and you start really breaking the player down. He's not good. He's just not good. He's not good. Devin White, who can't stop the run. Nakobe Dean, who can't stay healthy and play. Man, you got to really look at this shit and go like this. That guy hasn't done dick on defense. He hasn't done anything. Horrific sign. Hey, the Josh Sweat restructure, excellent. Gardner Johnson, we're going to get into pretty much the first week here. Hey, that's a great one. Steve, thank you for reminding me. I think you're one of the best in the business, Sills, but did you not say that you should go for White? Who would you recommend for the Eagles go for as linebacker? I said that you should go for White last year. I did. Okay, but then when he got beat up by KJ Britt, and by the way, he reminds me that, hey, we've been missing too many super chats, and we apologize for that. Xander's been getting on me about it. So just do me a favor. If you have a super chat, we will definitely hit them all, and we'll make sure we get them, and we'll make sure we hit on them, okay? I mean, we were talking about going out and getting William Gay. We were never talking about going out and getting anybody that the organization wasn't going to pay big money for. We never have ever said, last year we did, to go get Devin White. Patrick Queen was out of the realm of possibility. So you know what we said? William Gay, players like that, because that's the affordable. I'm even shocked at how he threw $7.5 million at this guy. Okay? Horrific sign. The guy can't play. He can't play. Hey, get this. Here's the thing. Name me one guy who says he's had a great career in Tampa or a good career in Tampa. Name me one. Name me one guy who said he's had a great career. For the 5th pick overall. Name me one. By the way, it's one thing to sit and come at me. Why would you come at me for a guy who was sucked? Why would you come at me for a guy who was sucked? Look, one of the things here. One of the things here is where he said that we're going to develop him in Philly, says Moore. You've never developed a linebacker in your entire time over the last 10 years. But all of a sudden now, you're going to develop a guy who was with one of the better defensive-minded guys in Todd Bowles, and you think you're going to develop Devin White. Here's one thing, too. You can't develop players on that side of the ball. You absolutely... Devin White sucks. His career has been D+. When you break the player down, and then you hear all the people talking, and then all I had to do was call Bruce Arians. And Bruce Arians told me, Dan, this guy is a combine freak. We saw him at the combines. We couldn't believe what we were watching. It's kind of what Howie did when he fell in love with Jordan Davis. And I told you from day one, Jordan Davis will only be a first and second down player for the rest of his career. He'll only be a first and second down player. And so far, that's exactly what he's been. Okay? Look at C24. You just doubt. No, the player has not performed. As of right now, Devin White has been a bust. As the 5th pick in the draft, Devin White has been a bust. Why in the... Most of your signs on defense have sucked. As a matter of fact, let's go to it. By the way, Angelo Cataldi, 330. And then the greatness of Philly Godfather will join us at 5:30. Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir. Angelo Cataldi will join us. That'll be at 3:30. Sweat restructured. He gets $10 million guaranteed and a chance to make $13 million bucks. Good for him. And I think that's a market value deal. I mean, I think that's under market value. That's a really good contract. That is. That's probably your best move you've made on defense so far. Eric Kendricks in Dallas is better than White. By far. By far. I don't give a shit what a Gator boy thinks, Howie. My faith. Whatever. What's LB's on our rosters better than White? Zach Cunningham? Zach Cunningham had a higher grade and a higher rating. How's that for you? Zach Cunningham had a higher grade. Devin White, 5th pick in the draft at LSU, has been terrible 4 of the 5 years in Tampa. Everyone's been saying sign it. Here, let's move on here. So the Eagle free, hey, Prince, he's an improvement from last year's season. We tend to focus on the negative, but he has a 2.4 against the cap. What is the potential upside here, Sills? Gee, stop fucking crying. Let's see how it plays out. Dude, you didn't upgrade anything. He's not good against the run. He can't cover. He's been terrible 4 of the 5 years, and it's a 1-year prove-it deal, and it's a $7.5 million nothing burger deal. This doesn't move the needle. I have never praised Devin White except for the 2020 season when they won the Super Bowl and he got home with 9 sacks. That's not been true. And when you saw last year he had an $18 million cap hit, I put a video out yesterday. When I found out he's got character issues, that's when I paused. I didn't know he had character. I don't cover the Bucs. And when I started talking to Sapp, and I talked to Bruce Arians last night, Bruce Arians said the kid never panned out. And now you're going to try to validate it? When a kid, you look at Patrick Queen. Think about something here with Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen went to Pittsburgh on an $18 million contract. This guy here goes to Tampa on a $7.5 million 1-year prove-it deal. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Here, let's do this. Eagle free agent defensive signings. This smells of desperation. This sounds of desperation. The Bryce Huff deal, heck of a pass rusher. This means Josh Sweat, now that he's restructured, Reddick is totally out. So you're going to run a 34 with 2 guys who can't play the run? You're going to line up with a defense with 2 linebackers who can't play the run and 2 edge rushers who can't play the run and 2 guys who struggle playing the run at the end of the season. That's going to be your defensive front 7? That is not a good look. You don't have enough talent. And BG's the other end. You got an old guy playing end. You got one guy who's fat and out of shape. You got another guy who's going to be a stud. You got Josh Sweat who's good. And you got 2 outside pass rushers who can't play the run. They can't play the run. You said, right, White had character issues. He has character issues. Steve, he has been bad for the 5 years. That's not an opinion. How do you justify that? What you just did, Steve? How about this? No matter what I say, how do you justify a guy who has not played well for the 5 seasons? How do you justify that? How do you justify that he hasn't played well for the 5 seasons? Whatever you want, hey, whatever you want to say to me, how do you justify that? How do you justify, hey, get this. How do you, no matter what anybody's saying in here, justify the signing? Justify it for me. Okay, I'll stop talking. Tell me why it's a good sign. He had 1 bad year? Not true. He's had 4. And the Bucks moved from him. Do me a favor. Not 1 bad year. 4. 4 bad years out of 5. 4. Some of the worst ratings. Playing the run and defending the pass. Worst. Over 4 of the last 5 years. Chris says, because we need a linebacker. That's desperation. That's desperation. Hey, man. Talking to some of you people is like talking to a fucking rock. You can't justify this move, even if it's a 1-year deal. It's a desperation move. The guy's not good. He's not good. He's just not good. Okay, and again, when you're not covering a team, I don't know all the particulars until you start looking at a player once you get him. Now that we have, he hasn't been productive and the Bucks move. Dude, you don't move off of people. And get this, let me show you something when you have a good player. When Roquan Smith was dealt by the Bears to Baltimore, he got a $100 million deal and now makes $20 million a year. You're not really moving off of him. Okay? You're not moving off of him. Okay? Who said that? Frankie says PFF is not the end all be all. No, but the Bucks' decision to move him and let him walk into free agency, and he was the 5th pick in the draft, tells you all you need to know. Organization quit on him. He didn't have anything to bring to them. And you guys will look at it like this. And you guys will just look at it like this and go like this. Well, hey, you know, PFF ain't all the end all. Well, then why'd the Bucks move off him? Okay? Why'd they move off him? Why did the Bucks quit? Cost you nothing? So you're going to give a roster spot to a guy who doesn't deserve to be on the team. Okay, let's take a look at your free agent moves. The Bryce Huff move. Heck of a pass rusher. All you did was move Hassan Reddick's money to him. He's the same player, except with the less production of Reddick. If you're going to tell me I'd rather have kept Reddick and not have signed Bryce Huff. They're the same player. He can't play the run either. Everyone knows that's only the reason why he played 46% of the plays. They can't keep him on the field. I'd rather have kept Reddick before the Ravens got Roquan Smith. Patrick Queen was like Devin White. I understand your point, but do you want them to keep signing older players? It's a great point, Prince. Prince, it's a great point. It is. It's a great point, Prince. Okay? But here, hey, I'll say this to you, though, Prince. Bryce Huff, he's younger. He's Reddick 2.0. Huff is 25 years old on an $18 million contract. Not the same as Reddick, who's going to get 20. He ain't making $24, $30 million in an Eagle uniform. Okay? And I don't believe Reddick has got that market. Who's ever telling you that, in my opinion, I have no way, no how is that guy going to make that kind of money. Devin White has no upside. Bryce Huff, he's a one-dimensional player. They just moved money. Really, he's younger. They got younger for the same guy who's not as productive or hasn't been as productive as Hassan Reddick. So that's a wait and see. The Gardner Johnson move. Here's what I told you yesterday about him. He's out of position a lot. He gets turned around. But the one thing that he is, he's a tremendous playmaker. He's a ball-hawking guy who's always around the ball. And to me, I'll take some of the deficiencies when it comes to, I'll take some of the deficiencies that comes around when it looks at, you know what? Get this. I see one thing that I agree on. LJ saying the national media is praising the Eagles. Yeah, last year the national media was saying that Brian Johnson and Sean Desai were going to get head coaching jobs. Same national media. We're saying that Brian Johnson and all those guys were doing a great job when they were 10-1. That those guys were going to be head coaches. Those guys were dummies. Okay? Dummies. Okay? You lost a lot of us downing the Barkley signing. I don't give a shit, Chris. I think the Barkley signing is okay. We'll see. I've not seen anything from him that makes me go, wow, he's not a wow player. He hasn't had a wow career. Now he has the chance. He's going to be on a superstar team. Okay, let's see it. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. His rookie year was good. Outside of that, I don't know. When he's been on bad teams. Okay, I get it. Other running backs like Josh Jacobs have been on shitty teams. And Josh Jacobs is a superior player to Barkley. Superior. There's nothing he has done in his career that remotely looks close to what Josh Jacobs has done on a Raider organization with all that bullshit and turmoil that's gone on. Barkley hasn't had the career. Who was the quarterback at the end of the Raider season last year? Does anybody know? And it wasn't Garoppolo. Who was the quarterback on the Raiders? I mean, Josh Jacobs has had a better career. He has. He's had a better career. And you know what you guys are saying? Because he went to Penn State and he was the second pick overall. Derek Carr was not the quarterback in Vegas. Try again. Hey. I mean, look at the production. Look at who he is. Josh Jacobs has never, everything Josh Jacobs has done has been superior to Barkley on a shitty team too. I mean, Saquon Barkley, we're going to find out. I don't believe the players who you think he is. We'll see. This guy has 1,500 yards. You're damn right you get an apology. But as of right now, I don't see it. I think he makes them better. Yeah, when healthy. I can't wait to see how they're going to spread the ball to him with a quarterback who can't throw screen passes and can't read defenses. This is going to be classic. You got talent for a drop-back quarterback, not an RPO quarterback, and he's still learning. The least developed player in your offensive huddles hurts. You know that? A.J. Brown is more developed. Devontae Smith is more developed. Dallas Goedert's more developed. Saquon Barkley's more developed. Hurts, as a passer, is not. He's not. Facts. He's the least talented offensive weapon that you have in your huddle right now. He is. Nobody on the planet right now thinks Jalen Hurts is a top 15 quarterback. Okay? Nobody. Hey, I don't think Brock Purdy is a top 15 quarterback. Maybe top 12, somewhere in there. Both of them, top 12. Okay? It's kind of, both of those guys are in the top 12 in there. Okay? How in the world can you have two 1,000-yard receivers and you can't throw for $4,000? I've never seen anything like it. You got Carson Wentz, who didn't have a receiver over 500 yards passing, and he threw for 4,000 yards and has a single-season passing record for the Eagle franchise. How's that possible? Carson Wentz was a better passer than Jalen Hurts. His numbers dictate it. And he had less weapons. Less weapons. Facts. No excuses. Okay, Bryce Huff, Xander, you want to get a laugh? Bryce Huff, CJ, and Devin White. What would you give Howie's grades the first week of free agency for defense? What would you give that grade? I can't wait to see this shit. I can't wait to see. That's right. Hurts hasn't sniffed 27 touchdowns. What are you talking, 30 touchdowns? What are you, crazy? Okay? Howie gets a B from Steve on defense. Have to admit it, though, Wentz. B plus. A big D. Hey, Chris, man. A. Sign a guy that the Buccaneers quit on. Okay? Here's what I say. Gardner Johnson and the restructuring of Josh Sweat. Everyone bashed you last year for being negative, saying you were wrong. Then we collapsed. I'm starting to think you're right more than us fans admit, Sills. Future of men. Thank you. Players change. Coaches change. Environments change constantly. The NFL is ever evolving. It's not a science. There's no one month a player can be playing so well, the next month that player can hit a wall and it's over. It really is like the weather, the NFL, and the players and coaches. You could be Bill Belichick one week, and you could be Bill Belichick without a job. I mean, the greatest coach in the history of the National Football League got fired. Is he horrible? So what? The Patriots flip-flopped on Bill Belichick? Did they flip-flop on him? They fired the greatest coach in the history of the National Football League. They must have flip-flopped on him. Sills, I would never question your evaluation of linebacker since Dean, but would you rather not sign White and focus LB in the draft only? That's, hey, Big Rhythm, it's a fantastic take. It's a fantastic take. Sills, sign the guy. See what he brings to the table. Now, listen, let me play the other side of this for a second. Hey, man, he took a swing and signed him. Okay? He took a swing and signed him. I think he waited too long. I think he waited too long. Okay? Who was that guy that they signed and who was the guy that they signed? Was it Jordan Hicks? Was Jordan Hicks at one time an Eagle? He's back reunited with Jim Schwartz. You could have had Jordan Hicks. I know he's older in the tooth, and we were talking about not having plus 31-year-old guys. But, I mean, you could have had him 2 years, $8 million. Jordan Hicks is rated better and has had better seasons than Devin White. over the last couple of years. Okay? I mean, these are the kind of deals that I think Howie missed out on. Leonard Floyd, I know he's a little long too. I think Rams and Bills, 2 years, $20 million. He's a more complete ball player. I mean, when you look at teams like Pittsburgh, look at Pittsburgh, what they did. They signed Russell Wilson on a $1.2 million contract because the value of the player has to match what his production's been the last couple of years. And that's why the Buccaneers passed on Devin White, because what he was asking for didn't match his production. And that's why they walked away from him. Most people, okay? Most people that look at quality deals look at the money, because the resources that you use are going to be needed to fill other holes. Okay? C24 goes, Russell Wilson sucks. That's Russell Wilson, dude, had more touchdown passes and less interceptions than Jalen Hurts did a year ago. So what's your quarterback's excuse? With more talent. Think about what that guy just said. Russell Wilson sucks. And yet Jalen Hurts had twice the talent on his team, and he had worse numbers. And yet Russell Wilson sucks. How you doing, Big Sills? With everything that Howie has done with free agency, which isn't bad, but why can't that translate to drafting, or is he lucky? Good point. We signed him for $2.4 million, Sills. You're talking cap. You signed him for 7.5, but I get where you're at with the cap. Why doesn't that translate to the draft? Because Howie Roseman is a capologist. He's not a talent evaluator. He never has been. Howie Roseman perpetrates himself as a talent evaluator, especially on defense, and he's not. Now, the one thing that Howie does well, and what will always work well when you're a capologist or a money guy, you know why? Howie is spending money on people who are kind of proven and people in the league. Once you're in the league 2-3 years, whether or not he's a hit or miss guy, that part of the evaluation is gone. Howie's problem is that when he drafts a player in the draft, most of the time they're misses. At corner, linebackers, edge rushers, they're all misses. Every one of them almost. They're all misses. Every single one of his picks have been misses. You can't deny that. You can't. People are going like, Wilson's a head case at $1.2 million, and I don't have to pay $37 million for him, and he's got Kenny Pickett in the room. That's a gamble I'm willing to take if I'm the Steelers. $37 million, if I got to pay that, bringing him in, I'm not doing that. But at $37 million, I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose. Look at this guy. African Surf says I'm lying that Russell Wilson didn't have better touchdown numbers and interception ratio than Jalen Hurts last year. All you got to do is look it up, dude. That's not a lie. That's a fact. Hurts has never even, Hurts has never thrown for 28. And if Wilson had a suck-ass year, in a suck-ass year, he had 29 or 28 touchdown passes and 6 picks or 9 picks. Hurts had 15 turnovers and can't get to 25 touchdown passes. And he's got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and he can't get there. Tell me how that works. Tell me how that works. Brian says, Sills, do you think a trade fell through, and that's why they went with I don't know that. I don't know that. Okay? I don't know that. All I know is the Bucs quit on him. So would you have ripped Howie if he didn't sign your number one name on the free agent list? No, because what he did was he just replaced Reddick with probably and arguably one of the better pass rushers in Huff. But he's the same guy. You really haven't upgraded your team. Hassan Reddick will not be back on the Philadelphia Eagles. And if he is, it's a train wreck of a run defense. That's a train wreck defense. You'll win 5 games with that defense. 5 games. You got a linebacker who can't play the run and cover, and you got 2 guys who can't cover and play the run as your edge rushers. You got an old man playing one end, and you got Josh Sweat. Cool. Restructure, great. The rest of it, Gardner Johnson is an upgrade for sure. He's your best move so far in defense. Okay? Best move. Okay? And the Niners are better on defense? Superior better than you on defense. You don't have anybody in Fred Warner or Dre Greenlaw's league. You don't have anybody in Hufanga's league. You don't have anybody in Nick Bosa's league. You have nothing like that. 0. Not close. Not remotely close. Right now, as of March 15th, after the first week of free agency, you're not a playoff team. There, Xander. The first week, you're not a playoff team, even with the Barkley move. Because you moved the money around for Huff. He's the same player as Reddick. The restructuring is good on Reddick. You didn't address the linebacker position. You just got a body. In your safety position, Gardner Johnson has made you a little better. Milton Long, Carter, those guys can run stop. They're never going to start Milton Williams. And by the way, are they going to extend Milton Williams? I sure hope not, so he can go somewhere else and play. Brown, Smitty, Goddard, Saquon, A+ O-line. If Hurts doesn't shine this year, it's a wrap. Steve, in my opinion, that's not the problem. NFC isn't too deep. Still a playoff team. Packers are going to be real good. That's Xander. He's right there. I mean, the other day when I was ranking the top 10 NFC teams, I couldn't come up with a 10th team. Okay? Barkley's licking his chops. How come, what was Barkley's record versus the Cowboys? 0-12? Was Barkley 0-12 versus the Cowboys? Mr. Greatness? Did Barkley ever beat the Cowboys? I think he's 0-12. And you think you're going to run. And the Cowboy defense is terrible against the run. I mean, Barkley's 0-10 versus the Cowboy defense. And you think he's going to run through the 49er defense? Okay. Okay. Even the Washington Commanders beat when Antonio Gibson beat the Dallas Cowboys. Antonio Gibson beat the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? Yeah. Fantastic. Bryce Huff, Gardner Johnson, and Devin White. Nobody on the planet thinks that sign's a good sign because nobody has thought that Devin White, hey, he's on a 1-year prove-it deal. If he was good, why didn't the Eagles give him a 3-year contract extension or give him a 3-year deal and put more money up front? Why aren't they doing that? If this is such a good sign, did you just see what they did with Joe Mixon in Houston? Did you see that, Xander? They made a trade for him, and as soon as they got him, they extended him 3 years. You see what Caserio did? They extended him 3 years. Gave him more money. Here, that's a good point. Let's move on to the next topic here. This is classic. You guys came here today because you knew I was going to kill the move, because you know I'm right. And you're trying to defend something that you know is not right. This reminds me, Xander, of the whole Nakobe Dean bullshit last year we went through, when everyone on my network, everyone in the Philly media was telling me how great Nakobe Dean was going to be, and it's going to be Dean's season. And I told you, if you're counting on that guy to be a star for you, you're going to be sadly disappointed. He won't finish the season on the active roster, and he didn't. It played out exactly like I said it would. It completely played out like I said it would with him. And so was this. Okay? And so was this. Now, let me ask you this. Let's ask a fundamental question here. This may be a little too difficult for some people. This may be a little too difficult for you. So if it is, you can sit it out. Okay? I mean, I get some of you guys, this is really going to be hard for you to comprehend. So you got a brand new edge rusher, correct? And Huff. There's Huff. You are going to have a new right end. Got to replace Brandon Graham. Right end. You got a new Mike linebacker. Okay, your Mike linebackers are going to be two guys that can't play the run. Devin White, Nakobe. You're going into battle with Nakobe Dean this year. Good night, Devin White. Okay. And now, you know what? I will say this. If they put Devin at the mic, and they move Dean over to Will linebacker, I might want to take a look at that. I might want to take a look at that. Okay? I might want to take a look at that. So I'm open to that. I'm open to it. Let's see here. Huff, you need a right end. Yeah, you need a Huff, a right end. You got to replace, or you replace Huff, you replace Reddick with Huff. You need a right end. Your new Mike linebacker. You got a new safety. And you got a new DC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what else you got there. Kenny Pickett, 2 Eagles. Just traded for Kenny Pickett. Eagles traded for Kenny Pickett. I don't hate that move. I don't hate that move. Wow. The Steelers moved off of a mistake awful fast. Small hands Pickett. Pressure's on Hurts. Yeah! Holy cow! Woo! The pressure's on Jalen Hurts. Oh, my God. They traded a first-round pick. No, not a first. They traded for a former first-round pick. Now the pressure's on Jalen Hurts. Yeah! Small hands Pickett. Hey, man, you know what happens when you have small hands? Everything looks bigger in your hand. Woo! Jalen season. These are crazy-ass moves. Wow. This is crazy-ass moves. They just put pressure on your boy. Why would they do that? This is really... Oh, my God. Dude, this organization, I think Jeffrey Lurie must have kicked him in the nuts. Hey, we need to get this thing turned around. Hey, when that guy was buying a yacht, he wasn't just buying a yacht. I can't wait to get Angelo Cataldi on. Holy shit. Jalen Hurts now has Kenny Pickett chomping at the bit. Hey, wait till Kenny Pickett gets into an offense with a good O-line, Saquon Barkley, and some good pass. He might actually be good. Holy cow. Hey, look what Chris says. Just a backup. So was Hurts. Okay? So was Hurts. Kenny Pickett. Hey, Kenny Pickett in that offense versus the Steelers. Do you know that the Steelers have scored 25 touchdown passes in the last 2 years? He's the backup. Stop it, Sills. Wait a minute. Jalen Hurts was drafted as a backup. Don't use that on me. Your boy was a backup. Do they believe in Hurts? Oh my God. Hey, Xander, this is just let me give you the Kenny Pickett spin here. I say this to you about Kenny Pickett being dealt for by the Eagles. I like the move, man. You know what they're probably saying? What could he do in this offense? The Steeler offense has been shitty. Pickens, Najee's not bad. I'm not suggesting to you that Kenny Pickett's going to turn his career around and turn into Patrick Mahomes here. But what I am going to say is, I'd like to see him get a chance here with better talent. You guys, wait a minute. Let me get this thing right. So everyone's now saying, how many people are now saying this? How many people are saying this? Well, Saquon Barkley needs a better team. Right? Well, if Saquon Barkley needs a better team to shine, doesn't Kenny Pickett? Why doesn't that apply to him? Why doesn't that apply to him? You guys have, it's so selective selection. You've been telling me, Sills, you're wrong. You're wrong on Barkley. With better talent, right, Xander? With better talent, Barkley's 1,500 yards, probably 600 yards receiving. Okay? How do you know Kenny Pickett's not a 4,500-yard passing quarterback with better talent? Let's check this out. Wow, they got him for nothing. Terms of the deal. And they got 120th pick. I think that's a 4th rounder or 3rd rounder. Is that right? Is 120 a 3rd rounder? Steelers get pick number 98. That's a 2nd rounder or 3rd rounder. 2 2025 7th round picks. Eagles get quarterback Pickett and number 120. Whew. Yeah, that 120 is like a 4th round pick, I think. But that sounds like a 3 to me. How you doing, hey, Jalen? Don't come out throwing picks. You'll be hearing the calls for the Pitt guy. You'll have a Pitt quarterback and a Penn State running back there. This guy's keeping it local, isn't he? How about Howie, baby? Howie, I like it. Put pressure on that kid finally. See how he handles that. Couldn't handle the money last year. Fell apart last year at the end of the season. Let's see how he handles the pressure, the money, and a guy breathing down his neck. Oh, yeah. Hey, get this, though, Steve. This is probably something that's it's either going to be a good thing or a bad deal. Okay? Look at Greg. Pickett won't see the field. Yeah, Jalen wasn't supposed to either. But he did. Dude, you make it sound like Jalen Hurts was drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles with the intentions on being a franchise quarterback. That was never the intention. So you can't apply that when it comes to Kenny Pickett either. He was actually drafted by the Steelers to be the face of the franchise. Jalen was never. I got you, Greg. We're good. We're good. I'm just saying this. I mean, you guys are telling me one thing here. Sills. And how about this? Let's apply it to both. Still, Saquon needs just better. He just needs better players. Look at the people. I hear Bill talking about the cascade of shitty players he's played with. Okay. The only reason that Kenny Pickett hasn't blown completely out loud is because Mike Tomlin's there. Hey, do I think that guy's been great in Pittsburgh? No way. No way do I think he's been great in Pittsburgh. I'll tell you one thing is for sure. It shows you how valuable people like Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins are. No wonder. The NFL has they have a lack of talent at that position. And that's why guys like Dak and Cousins are going to make gargantuan money. You know why? Because there's a talent shortage at that position. There's a talent shortage. So let's do this. Is Jalen's job in jeopardy? Is Jalen's job in jeopardy? And it got the guy on a rookie deal. Hey, they're paying him some decent money, though. And get this, it's guaranteed. Daryl goes, that's stupid. Really? He goes like this, that's stupid. So you think, Daryl, you go and you sign Saquon Barkley, you pay $25 million for a wide receiver. You draft a first-round wide receiver. You have a second-round tight end, and you're paying $15 million. The money you've invested in your O-line, you just gave your guard $20 million annually, and your quarterback's making $50, and he thinks that's stupid. Hey, Sills, if Huff is not an upgrade over Reddick, why make that move? At least Reddick. Hey, Ace, right. It's a lateral move. It's a lateral move. That's a great call, Stevens. You think Kellen Moore wanted Kenny Pickett? Kellen Moore liked him at the combines. Okay. Oh, man. Is Jalen Hurts' job now in jeopardy? Oh, my God. They just put guess what they did this offseason? They put pressure on the coach with Kellen Moore's hire, and they put pressure on the quarterback with the Kenny Pickett trade. One thing the Eagles aren't doing, excuse me, Aunt Betty, they're not fucking around. People's asses are on the line here. And if I was a player in that locker room, I'd be like this. I'll tell you what they do. They're making bold statements here. You could say whatever you want about the deals. You could say whatever you want. I think that owner is pissed, John. I think the owner's pissed because there's been some bold statements made. Pressure makes diamonds, baby. Sink or swim. Hey, I think this owner, I don't think those meetings with Howie and Nick went well. You spent money at linebacker. Whether Devin White is good, let's get out of that. They spent money, right? They spent money on Barkley, okay, which they've never done. They make a trade for a quarterback. Have they? Well, they had to have been sold on Hurts. You don't give somebody $250 million and say, well, I'm not really sold on him still. I wouldn't think. Oh, I see. Look at Kadeem. Kenny Pickett is trash, having been on a not a very good offense. But yet Barkley, who hasn't – Barkley was on a shitty offense too. But that's a great sign, right? Okay. Pressure could be good. It's time to go. DRC. I'm not thinking this is all bad now. You know what? I got to tell you, remember what I said to you a couple weeks ago? Remember what I said? I said this to you guys. You know what, man? At the end of the day, one thing is for sure. They needed to make a statement. Hey, don't forget Angelo Cataldi's going to join us at 3:30. I can't wait to hear his take on this Pickett move. Okay? Pickett's going to have Barkley. Oh, my God. If that guy starts the season out with 7 picks, I'll be screaming from the highest building on Broad Street. Kenny! Small hands! Small hands! Small hands! Holy cow. All you Jalen Hurts lovers, man, this has got to hurt a bit. Carson Wentz watch. No, this is Jalen Hurts watch. Woo! Pitt Panther, Penn State, baby. Pickett. He's an Ocean County kid? Get out, Dave. I didn't know he was a Jersey kid. Is he? That's great. Great talent in Jersey. Dude, very underrated high school football talent, too, in Philly. Shit, man, I think your high school football is better than your college football in the Philadelphia area. Okay? Sills, you make me hate this team. I feel like there's no hope. Hutch, don't do that. Hutch, that's not – Hutch, can I tell you something, Hutch? It's March 16th. Or excuse me, 15th. I think the Eagles are being very entertaining. Remember that liked Pickett in the draft, took him to dinner twice. Hey, didn't Howie have the binoculars out at the Pitt game? Was it Pitt, Carolina? Was it? Am I right when I say that? Didn't Howie had the binoculars out and he's watching Kenny Pickett at the Pittsburgh, North Carolina game? Right? He had those binoculars out and he was looking at his boy Kenny Pickett. Remember that? He was at the game for North Carolina and Pitt. Right? Oh, so Howie's loved this kid. Taylor goes, Pickett was in college for 7 years. He sucks. Yeah, because he was on a horrible offense. But Saquon Barkley, he's great. What a great sign. And his numbers are pedestrian. He had 7,000 yards on a shitty team. Okay. Last 4 years, he's had 2,800 after knee injury. Oh, I can't wait to get Angelo on bottom of the hour. This is going to be great. Let's get McMullen for 4:30 on White and Pickett. Absolutely. If he'll willing to do it, John McMullen has been. Hey, I'll tell you something about McMullen. So I hate Xander. I hate to position it like this, but I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking of John. So I turn the show on, and he just lays into the Devin White numbers. He just lays into it. And we'll expand more at 4:30. I don't want to bury the lead if some of you didn't see the show. Don't forget Birds 365. Make sure you check it out. Him and Big Bill does a great job for us. Say, oh, man. Jalen Hurts' job is on the line. Steelers got rid of a first-round pick. Dude, man, that was fat. How many years was he in Pittsburgh, 2? Shit. They just went like this. Nah, it's all right. Hey, the Steelers went like this. Sills, what do you think of the Sweat restructuring? Fantastic. It's what he does great. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I got to take a timeout because Angelo Cataldi is going to join us. The man, the myth, the legend. I don't know where to begin. We're going to have to begin with, I mean, shit, I was going to begin with Devin White and talk to him about some of the moves that have been made with Saquon Barkley. But I'm going to start with Kenny Pickett. Holy shit. I got it one more time. All seriousness. I got to say, man, that owner has to be one pissed off dude right now because he must have gone to Howie. I want changes. And I'm not just talking about coaching changes because the next people are going to be changed are going to be you and Nick. Do you think he had a come to Jesus conversation like that? Because this activity makes it look like that. Doesn't this guy look like he's put everyone on the hot seat? Hey, does this mean Howie's in trouble? Well, relative. Have you ever seen Howie Roseman break the bank at linebacker, running back, and make all the moves, and then make a play for a former first-round quarterback to back up a guy who didn't have the best year last year? Is that a smart move? Bringing in a former first-round pick who plays right down the pike, is from New Jersey, who's going to have fans at Lincoln Financial screaming for him to get into a game once Hurts throws 2 picks. You think that's the right move? Dude, I got to tell you, man, somebody's pissed off in the Eagles. I got to take a time out here and hit the like button. I'm going to expand on that more. I mean, is this the right move for Jalen Hurts, bringing Kenny Pickett in? We'll hit on that, hit the like button. Angelo Cataldi will be with us at 3:30 Eastern. Philly Godfather at 5:30. John McMullen at 4:30 to get his take and his spins on all this. Keep it here, National Football Show.